Hello. It's the it's the end of the year, the last episode of 2024. It's always one of those exciting times when I love going back through the stats and seeing just how many stories were created in the Portland startup community, how many things I had the opportunity to share and cover. But not only that, but also what resonated with you. I can share all kinds of stories, but it's always interesting to see what stories you're like, yeah, that's important. I want to hear that story. Tell me more about that story. Talk to me about that story. Because don't forget, this is, provide YouTube, there's the newsletter, there's the podcast, and then there's the blog, which is basically me scripting the YouTube throughout the week. So happy to take you through all of those most popular, most read, all those kind of things. I just always love going through the stats. That's one of my favorite things about the end of the year. And I'm going to share with you all the most popular stories, what resonated with folks. But first, we have to get to these deadlines that are staring you in the face right now. First and foremost, earliest deadline, January 6th, the Oregon UAS Accelerator deadline, January 6th. If you're building something with drones, you want mentorship and funding and all kinds of other things, please get your application in for the Oregon UAS Accelerator before January 6th. So just quit your dilly-dallying and get your application in before January 6th. Another thing on which not to dilly-dally is, you may remember from a couple weeks ago, I talked about the beneficial ownership information reporting requirement. If you're a small business, you have to report who your owners are and who benefit from your company. It's a federal government regulation. And you may be like, wait a second, BOIR, I seem to remember that that's now optional. Well, yeah, it was mandatory. And then somebody sued, brought legal action against the feds. And then they said, well, okay, we'll just make it optional. But then folks took that to the Court of Appeals, and the Court of Appeals overturned that ruling. So now it's back to mandatory. The good news is it's not mandatory for January 1st. You have until January 13th to get it done. But if you're building a startup, this applies to you. Get this done. Doesn't take much. Everybody's saying it's super easy. I need to go through mine and get mine done. But everybody's saying it's super easy, and if you don't get it filed, then it's like $10,000 in fines and all those kind of things. So just do it. BOIR, I will link it up. Beneficial Ownership Information Reporting, January 13th. Do get it done so you don't get fined or in trouble with the feds. I would like to hit 600 YouTube subscribers before the end of the year. I would like fake internet points. If I hit 600, I will feel like I've done something worthwhile. So please subscribe. And then in 2025, I will remind you to unsubscribe. The day after that filing, January 14th, is the big get together to kick off the year. Whole bunch of people involved. More people joining every day in terms of the organizing team, which is really sweet and nice. And I'm really happy to work with all of those folks. OEN and Ty Oregon are some of the newest ones to join us. But we're up near 300 RSVPs. And it would be great to see you there as part of those RSVPs. So if you haven't had the chance to RSVP for the Portland Startup Community 2025 kickoff celebration get-together thingamajig with hundreds of soon-to-be your new closest friends, please RSVP for that. Should be a great gathering, great way to get connected. Just a huge networking opportunity for you, for the entire Portland startup community. You get to meet people, people get to meet you. It would be great to see you there. I will be releasing the location in the new year. So location's not confirmed yet, but I will be releasing the location in 2025. So please RSVP so I can share that news with you. And I look forward to seeing you at the location once I announce it. I look forward to seeing you on January 14th. Another big event, great place to connect with people in both the software world and the hardware world and the web world and all those kinds of worlds. Worlds collide at the Silicon Florist Tech Summit, which is happening January 25th. Sliding scale, so pay what you want per ticket. Last time I went, it was the first time because it was the inaugural event, but there had to be like 400, 500 people there. So if you're interested in connecting with folks throughout the tech community in the Silicon Forest. So the kickoff thing is any product. So it could be food and beverage, could be apparel, could be tech, could be web, could be whatever. That's January 14th. January 25th is really focused on tech across the board: hardware, software, processors, printed circuit board design, what have you. So I will be there. I think I may be speaking. I will look forward to seeing you there at the Silicon Forest Tech Summit. Again, sliding scale. Please put some money toward it. I know the team has been working really hard to bring together a great event. There are tons of great speakers there. There's some secret speakers that may not be revealed until day of, but I'm really excited for that event based on my experience at the first one. It was just really great. And saw a lot of people I hadn't seen for 10 or 20 years. Saw a lot of people I see practically every single day. So it was really nice to get to hang out with all those folks. Tons of great content. Hope you can make it. Silicon Forest Tech Summit, January 25th. And then the final one, it's not the final day of January, but it's pretty darn close. On January 30th, the Metro Region Innovation Hub and Oregon Entrepreneurs Network are collaborating to do a reverse pitch for startup founders, where the organizations that support startup founders get to pitch on stage about the services that they offer. So I'll be there. I'll be talking about Pi and Built. Maybe I'll talk about Silicon Florist too. I don't know, but I'll be at the reverse pitch. I'll be up there on stage pitching. Many other organizations from within the Metro Region Innovation Hub will take the stage to pitch and share their stories and how they help people and how they help startups like you. So if you're curious about all the resources within the Portland metro area that are available to support startup founders like you, please make sure to attend the reverse pitch on January 30th, and you'll learn all about a whole bunch of different organizations in town that do the work of helping startup founders. So I got you through all the deadlines, gave you the task list of things you have to accomplish. Now let's get into the big stories of 2024. I went through all the stats, tabulated everything. I usually just do the blog posts, but because fewer and fewer people are reading the blog on a regular basis, I thought it might be helpful to provide also the most watched videos on the YouTube channel, the most listened to podcasts, and of course the most read and shared newsletters. So what I'm going to do is kind of take you through 2024, which was the first complete 52-week calendar that I recorded a YouTube video and a podcast every single week, sent out a newsletter every single week, and then of course published on the blog on a daily or hourly basis as was needed. That felt like a significant accomplishment for me. Like personally, I'm really happy I was able to do that for 52 weeks. I plan on continuing to do it for the 52 weeks in 2025 and continuing to provide you the news. But this is not about looking forward to 2025. This is about looking back on 2024. So let me pull up that story so I can read these out and kind of give you an idea of what stories were popular in the Portland startup community in 2024. I'm not going to give you the biggest and best story first. We're going to do this like a countdown. We're going to start at number 10. We're going to count it down to number 1, just to give you an idea of the stories that really resonated with the community that people are reading. Again, this is specific to the blog. These are the stories that people showed up to read on the Silicon Florist blog throughout 2024. Number 10, Baker's AI Dozen, 13 local artificial intelligence startups to watch. Number 9, introducing Vanport Studio, a new offering to support local startups. Number 8, with 10.1 million and hard-earned industry expertise, Fairly looks to rethink vacation rental management again. And that's a pretty recent, like that was a December story that just kind of blew up and went big and made it to number 8 on the charts for Silicon Florist 2024. Number 7, venture capital in Portland. I expected that one to do well. That was really just me listing off a bunch of venture capital groups and institutional funds that invest in Portland startups and Oregon startups. So if you're curious about who is around in terms of VC in Portland and in Oregon, that's a good post to check out. It made it to number 7. Number 6, Portland Startup Hydraulics raises $35 million in Series B. Obviously, $35 million being raised by a Portland startup is always newsworthy. Number 5, another prompt for Portland to return to making ridiculous decisions. Now, if you've never heard me talk about this, I have this concept that, Portland's strength is making ridiculous decisions. Not decisions that are silly or decisions that are stupid. By ridiculous, I mean making very insightful and creative decisions that have the potential to invite ridicule. And give me an example, you say. Okay, fine. How about the PDX roof? How about that new roof? How about Pioneer Courthouse Square? Like, why are you tearing down a parking garage to make a living room for Portland? How about Tom McCall Waterfront Park? Like, why are you not putting a freeway through there and putting a park there instead? Like, those kind of decisions. And that's what this post was about. This was specifically referencing Marcelino Alvarez speaking at the Wings conference and talking about how we as a community need to do a better job of both embracing the rivers that run through our community, but also making them more accessible to people. So again, yet another ridiculous decision that I hope the community takes on and takes up. So that one came in at number 5. Number 4, do you want to make sure Portland is more connected and collaborative? The Portland Metro Innovation, should have had a region in there. The Portland Metro Region Innovation Hub seeks executive director and navigator. That was for the hiring to lead that organization that will be throwing the reverse pitch with OEN. They found all the folks to do the things and the stuff. And that's a story from mid-year to early in the year, but now they're up and running and they have that leadership. But people were really intrigued by that concept and finding people who could lead that project. Number 3, Jama Software acquired for $1.2 billion. Unicorn acquisition of Jama Software by private equity. So obviously, any Portland organization gets acquired for $1.2 billion. That's going to be a popular story. Now, it's not the most popular story, but it was right up there. And it probably happened early in the year. So I had a little time with that one. But Jama, $1.2 billion with a B. Number 2, Portland is one of the top 50 cities in the world for VC. Barely. I can't remember where we came in on that list, but it was right near 48, 49, 50, somewhere around there. But still, really interesting that was revealed that we're among the top 50 cities for venture capital. Obviously, that was popular with a bunch of people, much like the venture capital in Portland coming in at number 7 was interesting to people. And the number 1 story for all of 2024 is not an uplifting one. The number 1 story was the shuttering of PDX WIT, Portland Women in Tech, what I often referred to as the best professional organization in town, was forced to shut down in 2024 and sent ripples and repercussions through the community. It was very sad news to share, but I was also humbled and privileged to be among the people sharing that news with the community and taking the feedback from folks about that. That nothing so far has really come back to replace PDX WIT and the place it held in our community. But sadly, 2024, PDX WIT had to shut down and created a huge gap in both programming as well as just a feel of community in the Portland startup community. So I hate to end it on a low note, but that's also why I wanted to count down from 10 to 1, because I knew 1 was going to be one of those sad stories from the year. Video wise, if you watch the YouTube channel, you may be listening to this as a podcast, but if you're watching me, if you can see how many fingers I'm holding up right now, then let me give you what the top videos for 2024 were. The first and foremost, the founder mode video. Like, founder mode just kind of blew up into a meme. So that one was really popular, kind of just explaining what founder mode means and where it came from and all those kind of things. Portland's best startup exit ever, of course, is the JAMA story, where I really did a deep dive, kind of took you into the inner workings of JAMA and like their history in the Portland startup community. So that one was super popular because $1.2 billion is significant news for anywhere. But especially the Portland startup community. Portland startups, why bother? Was me kind of, taking an old homie grandpa kind of wholesome approach to being like, why do I focus on Portland startups? Why do I find them so intriguing? That was my kind of behind the scenes, off the cuff, deep dive into why supporting founders like you in the Portland startup community is so important to me. I was really happy to see that one resonated with the community, and quite a few people swung by to watch that video. So thank you. Number 4 is probably the first news recap of a week that hit this chart. Portland startup raises $70 million. That one was a weird one. And so I was happy to get the chance to be able to explain it. But that was also one of the 52 weekly news recaps. That one actually made the chart. And then the second one that made the chart is from August, which was 17 years of blogging for me and Silicon Florist, and some chatter about the Bend Venture Conference. So those were the top 5 videos for 2024. Podcast episodes, I'll just give them to you by date. October 11th was the most popular week. January 19th, 2nd, January 5th, 3rd, February 2nd, 4th, and coming right in there at the last minute, like November 29th was the 5th most listened to podcast episode last year. So there might have been some cool stuff happening then. I can't tell you what it was. That's why I record it, so I don't have to remember this stuff. But you may want to go back and listen to the November 29th episode just to figure that out, because that one clearly was climbing the charts really quickly. In terms of top email newsletters, Drone Demo Day, Beer and Blog Reunion was number 1. Business Oregon Seeking VCs and the OVF PDX AI Demo Night was number 2. Bend Venture Conference and a bunch of other startup events, number 3. Number 4, Clackamas County Pitch and Chat with your GitHub repo. And number 5 was the Beaverton Startup Challenge and Blue Sky, kind of coming in out of nowhere and being a thing. So that's all of 2024 for you, and all the stories that you read or that you shared with friends and that people found most interesting in the community. I always appreciate you taking time to swing by and read those stories and listen and watch. And I also like being able to recount to you which of those stories were the most popular. 2024, the first complete calendar year of the YouTube and the podcast with the weekly updates. So glad you've been here. I'm so happy to see you here every week. Thanks for putting up with me. And thanks for trusting me to share the important news with you. It's been great to see you every week of 2024, and I look forward to seeing you every week of 2025. I hope you're hanging in there. I hope you're getting some downtime this week and maybe next week with all the holidays and all that kind of thing. I know it can be challenging, but please take some time for yourself. Relax, recharge. 2025 is going to be great. And until we get the chance to chat again, please keep up the good work.